In this episode, I'm going to introduce you to a very simple yet powerful expression that will scale any layer continuously with absolutely no keyframes. We'll save this expression as an animation preset so you can add it to any layer with just a click of a button. And I'll be showing you a bonus expression that comes native with After Effects that I use with this scale expression on a daily basis. As always, I'll be showing you a ton of tips, tricks, and shortcuts along the way. Support our channel by getting your text animation template today. Sign up for my Udemy course, The Power of Shape Layers. Get your 7-minute AE merch at our online store. Join this channel or consider donating if you find this channel useful. Your support makes this content possible. Okay, there's a lot to get through, so let's dive right in. Okay, so this technique is particularly useful whenever you have multiple layers that you want to scale at the same speed and in the same way. So we're going to be doing this without any keyframes and just an expression. Now I've put this expression in the description below, so you can either copy and paste it from there, or you can just type right along with me. So before we type in our expression, let's go over to our effects and presets, and we need to add in a slider control. So just double click that to add it, and then we're going to call this scale percent. Option or alt click onto scale, and we're just going to type t equals time minus thisLayer.inPoint, and then put a semicolon at the end. Hit return, v equals t times, and take your expression pick whip, and let's just go over to our scale percent. Semicolon again, and then we just need to write a line of code that will execute this expression. So we'll say open bracket value, then open bracket 0, close that bracket, plus v, comma, value, open bracket 1, close that bracket, plus v. Now we can change the scale percent. We'll make this value 5, and this is going to increase our scale by 5% every second. So say if we go up to 1 second here, you can see that our scale now is 105. At 2 seconds, we're at 110. So we just watch that play back. It auto scales. Now we can change this value to whatever we want. If you want to go faster, make that 10. And as you can see, it's going to scale a little bit faster. I'm going to alt right bracket on this layer so that way we can trim it right here. Go to your effects and presets and just start to type fade in. You have this fade in and out frames and fade in and out MSEK. I like to use fade in and out frames. They both do basically the same thing. The difference being with frames, it measures your fade in frames, and in MSEK, it measures it in milliseconds. That's what that MSEK stands for. And this is going to fade based on your in and out points. So double click that. The thing you want to pay attention to is this fade in duration, and it defaults to 15 frames. You can see it's a 15 frame fade in and out. You can make this any length you want. So say, let's spread this out and say I want a 1 second fade. You can make this 30, and you can make it fade in and out the same duration or 2 different durations. Watch it play back and you can see it does a 1 second fade. So if you're doing something like screen credits or film titles and you want every layer to scale in exactly the same way and have a fade in and out, this is a perfect way to do that. Okay, so let's Control D to duplicate that. O to go to the end of your layer, and then left bracket to bring that over. And I'm just going to change this right here. This is a cool expression. Watch that play back, and we see we have both these layers fade in and out, and they scale in exactly the same way. Whenever I have multiple layers like this, I like to add an adjustment layer that has these controls, because that way you can have as many layers as you want, and they will scale and fade consistently. If you Command Option Y, you can create an adjustment layer. Let's just call this Controls. So with that layer selected, let's go to Effects and Presets, and I'm going to type in Slider, and we're going to add in a Slider Control, and we're going to call this Speed, and then I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to call this Fade. Let's focus on the speed first. So if we open up this bottom layer here and hit EE, this is our expression that we wrote earlier. Now just select on Controls. Without clicking the layer, let's just highlight everything starting with Effect to the end of this parenthesis. Then take your expression pick whip and go up to Speed. And I'm going to go ahead and make that 5 for now, so that way it's consistent. And then let's select this layer now and hit E to bring up our effects. So now let's open up this fade in and out. We have it set to a 30 frame fade in and out. Again, select Controls. And again, without selecting this layer, because if you select the layer, we're going to lose the controls. So just don't select a layer, but take your expression pick whip and bring it to your fade slider. Then we can do the same thing for our fade out. And this will make the fades consistent. So see if I change this to 15, we can see that both of these values turn to 15. Okay, so on this controls layer, we are controlling our speed and our fade. I'm just going to get rid of this layer here because it's not linked to our controls layer. So now, see if we watch this play back, we have a 15 frame fade and our speed is set to 5. So if I change this to 15, it should make it go faster. We can see that it does. If we change our fade to 5, it's going to fade in and out a lot faster as well. But now we can take this layer, duplicate it, O to come to the end of our layer, left bracket to bring it over to where our playhead is. Let's change this text now to, this is a cool expression. If we go to our controls layer and let's play with our speed here. Let's make that 5 and make our fade, we'll say 30. So that way it's a 1 second fade. Now both of these layers are being controlled by just these two controls. So you can have as many layers as you want and be able to update the speed and the amount of fade with just using the controls layer. So Control D to duplicate, O to go to the end of your layer, left bracket to bring it over, O to go to the end, and N will bring your handle over so that way you can loop an area. 7-minute AE tutorials. So now I have the scale speed and the fade duration for all three of these layers being controlled just by the controls layer. I'm going to increase this to say 25 and maybe we'll make this fade. We'll make it really quick, like a 5-frame fade. And as you can see, it goes a lot quicker and it fades in and out a lot quicker. So again, this is a very useful technique to use if you're doing something like film titles or credits or anything like that, where you have multiple layers that you want to scale and fade in the exact same way. And the main thing is it requires absolutely no keyframes. So you're doing all of this animating on fade and scale with no keyframes whatsoever. I want to show you how to save this as an animation preset. The thing with animation presets though is that it has to be on one layer. So we're just going to save this expression as if we only had one layer of text. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all this stuff here and we're going to get an error because we are now not linked to the appropriate things. Option click on this fade in and out. And then for our scale expression, I'm going to take out everything after our T times, take our expression pick whip and go up to our scale percent that's on this layer. And that should get rid of all of our errors. So now just select Effects and Transform. Go up to Animation, Save Animation Preset. And then you want to drop this into your documents, Adobe, the version you're using, User Presets. And I'm just going to drop this in my 7-minute AE folder right here. And I'm going to call this Scale-Fade Preset. Hit Enter to save that. And select this layer and then get rid of all of these things here. We're going to get an error because we still have that expression on our scale. Okay, so if we go to our effects and presets, let's look up the thing we just saved, which was scale-fade. And here it is right here. And just double click on that. And now we have our scale percent back and our fade in and out. So now I can drop this on any layer that I would like, and I can use it with just a click of a button. Now, again, since we're adding this to just a singular layer, we won't be able to control multiple layers. The way that you're going to have to do that is to add in that adjustment layer, and then move those controls up there. I'd like to thank the good folks over at AE Juice for sponsoring this video. If you haven't checked them out at aejuice.com, I highly recommend you do just that right now. Get tons of free plugins from AE Juice that will save time while adding polish and professionalism to your projects. Get the AE Juice Starter Pack, which contains over 100 assets for your projects, including liquid and shape elements, liquid transitions, slides for your slideshows, text presets, flat icons, 2D and 3D assets, and so much more. AE Juice also offers professionally produced sound effects absolutely free. Other free plugins include a HUD package that is super cool. These elements would literally take hours to create, but with AE Juice, you get them absolutely free and they can be dropped into your project with the click of a button. Some of my personal favorite free plugins include Copy Ease, which allows you to copy the speed graph of your keyframes and paste them so you get identical keyframe speeds. I also use Shifter on a regular basis. Instead of going through the multiple steps of offsetting layers, this plugin allows you to do it with the click of a button, which saves a tremendous amount of time. In addition to these impressive free plugins, you can also purchase advanced products at more than reasonable prices. Take advantage of AE Juice's bundles. My personal recommendation is that you get the I Want It All bundle, which includes everything I just showed you. I've been approached by several sponsors and I will not promote their products unless I support them, use them, and highly recommend them. AE Juice is an amazing product and company, and in my opinion, it's a necessity for any serious motion graphic designer. aejuice.com. I hope this tutorial helped you out and that you learned something new and useful. Make sure to come back next time for another tutorial that will expand your knowledge of After Effects while also teaching you some really cool tips, tricks, and shortcuts. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe, and click the bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Support our channel by getting your 7-minute AE merch today at our online store. and sign up for my Udemy course, The Power of Shape Layers. It's guaranteed to make you a shape layer rockstar. The link to that course, to our 7-minute AE store, and the project files for this episode are all in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.